Okay, so I don't want to keep up too long, so I will start to kick off from now. So we'll just have people entering in the background. I would just like to give an acknowledgement of country and recognise that I am joining and hosting this webinar from the lands of the Gadigal. I'd also like to recognise the traditional owners of the countries where you are all living and working today. And I would like to also extend that respect to any First Nations people present in today's webinar and elders past and present as well. So welcome to the Procure for Impact competition for challenge for 2025. This is our inaugural competition for procurement. So we're very excited to have you joining us here. We're delighted that we've had so much interest and such a positive response to the competition. We've had 47 total teams join from 16 universities that you can see in that image to the right as well across Australia and New Zealand. So this is a fantastic result. We couldn't be more delighted, and we're really pleased because the procurement profession is something that we're very passionate about, inspiring students and young professionals like yourselves to join. So we're really excited to give you the opportunity to engage with procurement and also extend your network and meet with some inspiring leaders in procurement who will be our judges and coaches, who I'll speak a little bit more about later in this session as well. Just to reiterate, the focus of the competition is that working in teams, you're going to be engaging in real-world policy analysis for procurement and refining your decision-making skills and also your communication and presentation capabilities. This program is brought to you by the Australasian Procurement and Construction Council, APCC, and Academy Global, AG, which I'm from. And we're partnering to provide your team with an authentic and meaningful procurement challenge that mirrors real-world challenges that you'll face once you get out into the working world. And your team will act as procurement consultants, critically evaluating a government agency's strategy, identifying practical improvements, and you'll present a compelling recommendation to the expert judging panel if you reach our final round. So just as a bit of background, I am Genevieve Malcolm. I'm the Commercial Director of Academy Global. Academy Global is a capability development firm that was founded in 2004, and we've conducted training assignments in over 20 countries across 5 continents. We are also a member of the APCC Procurement and Contracting Network, and we have been since 2021. So we do a whole lot of work across a number of subject areas, but procurement and contract management capability is a key focus area for us. We're also the approved study centre for the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, which is the global professional network for procurement and contracting. And we also partner with the University of Queensland for delivery of the Diploma and Advanced Diploma of Procurement and Contracting for public sector across Australia. And those are accredited Australian qualifications as well. So that's a little bit about AG. I would now like to hand over to Teresa Scott, the Executive Director of the Australasian Procurement and Construction Council, who is going to just say a few words on behalf of the APCC. So thank you, Teresa.
Right, thank you. I'll just check that you can hear me okay. Wonderful. All right, let's make a start. Well, congratulations to everyone. I think this is a fantastic opportunity to put yourself forward and showcase your strong abilities before you enter the workforce. But look, it is APCC is delighted to be partnering with Academy Global on this Procure for Impact procurement challenge. APCC has partnered because its government members, the members of APCC, want the next generation of leaders to come through the procurement path. I think the 47 teams from 16 universities, these numbers do demonstrate students' desire to establish careers that have purpose and impact. And against that, I say welcome to the world of procurement. I love procurement and I'm one of its greatest advocates. So I'm very passionate when I speak about a career in procurement, and rightly so. The spend across government is about 410 billion, and the private sector is at least double that. If you join that together, the procurement spend in Australia is larger than the GDP of Singapore. It's quite significant. So what is procurement? At its core, it is driving organisational goals, improving business performance, and shaping the future. This statement is true for both private and public sector procurement. At the end of the day, procurement lets you make a real impact, helping people, shaping places, and protecting the planet. Not many careers can say that. If you're someone who wants a career to actually make a difference, procurement is seriously an underrated path. It's all about using, in a public sector sense, it's all about using government money, that's taxpayers' dollars, in smart, ethical ways to do things that matter, to build schools and hospitals, creating jobs and boosting local businesses, tackling climate change, fighting modern slavery and promoting fair working conditions, making sure every dollar delivers the most to the community. Procurement helps shape a fairer, more sustainable world, and you get to be part of the engine room that drives that change. So it's not just about buying stuff. It's about solving real world problems and making society better from the inside out. That's what procurement can do, and that's the power of procurement. It's not just buying stuff. So you're not sure what you want to do when you leave university. That's totally normal. But if you're into a bit of everything, business, law, policy, tech, sustainability, procurement might be your thing. It's one of those rare careers that brings all the disciplines together. Whether you love strategy, people, numbers, or solving problems that actually matter, there's a place for you in procurement. If you don't want to lock yourself into a narrow path, procurement can give you options and the freedom to grow in directions that suit you. So there's lots of flexibility in a career in procurement. If you're ambitious and want to grow your career fast, procurement has serious potential. You can start in a grad role and move all the way up to leading big teams or even becoming a chief procurement officer. Yep, that position exists across government and across the private sector. A random fact, the former CEO of Rio Tinto came up through the procurement stream. So you can make your way all the way to the top of a large corporate or mining organisation. There are heaps of opportunities to build your skills, get certified, step into leadership roles and work across different industries, from government and health to tech and infrastructure and defence, to name a few. If you're looking for a career that's stable and meaningful, procurement ticks all the boxes. It's a future-proof job, especially in government, with solid pay, flexible work options, and long-term career security. And it's not boring. It's actually a very exciting career. You could be working on anything from sustainability strategy to negotiating large mega contracts, analysing data, managing suppliers, or shaping policy if you work within government. Plus, the skills are global. You'll find procurement roles in every industry, as I said, from defence, mining to healthcare and tech, both here and overseas. If you're a problem solver who likes a bit of complexity, procurement will keep you on your toes. It's not just about buying things. It's about making smart, strategic decisions when the stakes are high. You're juggling mega budgets, you're juggling complex risks, timelines, and of course, the social outcomes. You're working across big systems to solve tricky problems and find creative ways to deliver real value. Good strategic procurement is bespoke. Each and every time you do it, it looks and feels different. If you like thinking, then you'll definitely like a career in procurement. If you're into tech, innovation, and future-focused work, procurement is a career for you again. The field is changing fast. Think AI, automation, data-driven decision-making, and building smarter, more sustainable supply chains. You'll be part of projects that are reshaping how governments and businesses deliver services, from client smart infrastructure to digital procurement systems. It's a space where tech meets purpose and where your ideas can actually shape the future of the business and the communities in which you live and work and play. So, what does a procurement professional actually do? At its core, procurement is about making smart decisions on how money is spent, not for personal gain, but to create real-world impact. As a procurement professional, you'll be part of the team that plans, sources, and manages everything an organisation needs, from tech systems and building materials to medical supplies and social services. Repeating myself, and in summary, procurement is so much, much more than just buying stuff. You'll solve complex problems, work with purpose, use data strategy and negotiation skills, collaborate across teams, and embrace innovation. You'll find procurement professionals working in government, health, infrastructure, tech, defence, sustainability, and more, in roles that are diverse, stable, and never dull. In short, procurement professionals make big things happen in smart, ethical, and strategic ways. If you would like more information, you can go to the APCC Procurement Professionalisation webpage. It also includes government job opportunities across Australia and New Zealand. So I think that's enough from me, Genevieve. Hopefully I've won over a number of students to seriously consider procurement as your career.
Thanks very much, Teresa. I think that was excellent background, and I hope all your students present today can also link in with APCC. And I was going to say, I think some of those messages will be key for them in their approach to the challenge as well, around some of that emphasis on not just buying stuff and thinking strategically and about your other considerations as you go into your approach to the case study and the competition as well. So thanks very much, Teresa. So everyone, I'd like to now just cover off some of the key administrative points for the competition in terms of the information around what you need to do and the next steps and dates and timelines and all those kinds of questions. So just reiterating in terms of the competition structure and format, you will be responding to a real-world inspired procurement scenario focused on one of the three critical themes. So your team chooses one of either environmental sustainability, social procurement, or modern slavery, human and labor rights to focus your response to the case study around. You will be working in teams as a procurement specialist. So that's the role that you're taking on when you respond to the case study, and you're tasked with advising a hypothetical fictional government agency on how to implement relevant policy through procurement strategy. This should already be clear, but your team is of 3 students and you're all from the same university. And we're currently in the first round. So this is where you will be submitting a 10-minute video presentation responding to the case brief. And this is going to be evaluated by a panel using a standardized rubric. Following the round 1, we will cut this down to the top 10 teams who will progress through to the final round. The top teams then have the opportunity for a 15-minute coaching and preparation session with feedback from senior procurement leaders before the final round. And then the top 10 teams will present live via Zoom in the final judging round. And these will be judged by senior leaders from government and industry. And we'll then have the virtual awards ceremony, which all the teams that have participated are welcome to join in on the final session, where we'll announce the winners and place getters in the competition as well. In terms of the key dates for those milestones I've just mentioned, most importantly for you right now is a submission deadline, which is the Wednesday, the 6th of August, 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time for those of you joining us from New Zealand. So that is the final date to submit your recorded presentation. Now, you will be issued, along with the recording of this presentation, a link where you will be submitting those presentations, but we cannot accept submissions received beyond that date. So please pay close attention to that date. On Monday, the 11th of August, we will be announcing the finalists, and that will be announced via LinkedIn. So please ensure you're following our LinkedIn so you can get the update first and when it's announced. And then the preparation/coaching sessions will take place. We'll be providing the finalists with availability to book those, and that will be between the 12th and 14th of August. And then the final round for our live presentation to the judges for the top 10 teams will take place on Friday, the 15th of August. And that'll be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. if you're in New Zealand. And then that afternoon, following those presentations, we will be having the virtual awards ceremony, which will run at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. New Zealand on that Friday. So same day as the presentations. I would like to also just re-emphasize and introduce you to the final judging panel. We're so delighted to have APCC members and some very senior people from government joining us on the judging panel. They're delighted that there's been such a strong interest in procurement, and this is a great opportunity for you to get some feedback and present. So we do have Andrew Danks, First Assistant Secretary from the Australian Government Procurement Division in the Department of Finance, Kate Ingham, who's the Deputy Director General Advisory Services from Department of Finance in WA, and Andrew Bennett, Deputy Director General and Chief Advisor, Queensland Government Procurement for the Department of Housing and Public Works in Queensland, and Matt Perkins, the Chief Advisor, Government Procurement for Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment New Zealand. So a great cross-section across Australian, Commonwealth Government, state government and into New Zealand as well. And they're really looking forward to seeing the ideas that you come up with. We also are really pleased to share with you that we have a number of senior procurement leaders who are joining for the coaching sessions with our top 10 teams before you do progress through to the final live judging round. And these include Christina Guerra, who's the Director of Procurement for Tennis Australia, Jane Wagner, who's the Director of Workforce Funding and Program Prioritisation for the Australian Government Department of Health, Disability and Ageing, Ishfa Latif, who's the Strategy Lead, Public Sector Procurement Professionalisation and Capability Uplift for the Department of Treasury and Finance in Western Australia, and Marcus Andreasen, who's a Fellow of SEPS and the Asia Pacific Indirect Procurement Manager for Aliaxis. So a really good opportunity for you to learn from and get some feedback from some very senior people in public sector procurement. So you should have received on Monday a detailed set of facts on the hypothetical scenario, the case study that you'll be responding to. This involves a fictional government agency in the facts who's appointed your team as an advisory team to conduct a strategic review and present recommendations on your procurement strategy for the agency. And you'll be focusing on one theme from either environmental sustainability, social procurement, and modern slavery. So please ensure that when you do put together your presentation, you're responding to this brief and that you focus on one of the key themes. So I'll now talk about some tips and guidance for the submission of your presentation. So as I mentioned, the deadline, your team's presentation must be submitted in video form. Late submissions will not be accepted, so make sure you adhere to the guideline. I know with video, sometimes it can take a little while to upload as well. So I would recommend making sure you do it well in advance so you're not waiting the minute before midnight to the deadline to upload, just in case you do have any technical difficulties. In that case, you may need to reach out to Shri, whose details you have from our team as well. Confidentiality and professional integrity. So please do not share case study content and related materials for the competition beyond the competition. That's just a standard part of our integrity and guidance. So please ensure that it's only stays within the bounds of your team. You do have 8 to 10 minutes to present in your recording, and that will be in the live judging round, followed by a 5-minute Q&A session with the judges. But for the recording in the first round, you have 8 to 10 minutes to present. Time management, just a bit of an FYI, and I think I cover this later as well, but please do not speed up your presentations using software or attempt to use compression software to make your video appear to be 10 minutes. Part of the key marking rubric is around the clarity of the presentation and your skills in being able to communicate and present your ideas within the time frame. So please adhere to the 8 to 10 minutes. And they need to be in the required video format. So you should have received details on Monday on what that needs to look like and the name of the file. Also, please ensure that each member of your team speaks and is clearly visible and audible in the video. No submissions will be marked beyond the 10-minute mark. So that's really important that you don't exceed 10 minutes in your presentation. Use of external resources. So when you're putting together your submission and your presentation, you can reference external resources. In fact, we encourage you to, and please draw from whatever guidance you find from government. You may even want to look at some of the APCC website and materials. I'm sure there's a lot on there as well that could help you in putting together your responses. And just ensure that you properly cite all the references that you refer to in your response. Where we detect plagiarism or there's a failure to credit sources that may result in, marks being deducted or a disqualification. Collaboration between teams, so that's across different teams or using external assistance outside of the team participating in the competition is prohibited, so that's not allowed. And if we do become aware that this has taken place, this may lead to the disqualification of your team. And likewise, communication with the judges before or during the competition is not allowed for the integrity of the competition, and any queries you have must be directed to competition coordinator. So that will be Shri, who's online and who you've received communication from previously. If there are any disputes around this, they'll be resolved by the competition committee, and that will be internal to AG, and any decision by them is final. So some more tips based on prior competitions we've run. I would recommend that you start early and assign team roles. So who'll be speaking what, who'll be presenting first, how you want to structure your presentation. Focus on the clarity and structure as well. You will be marked on how well you present, communicate your ideas, support recommendations with evidence. As I said, do some research, go to the APCC website, find out a bit more about public sector procurement, what necessary policy legislation you might want to reference as well, and practice. So I would say definitely practice your presentation, including handover, how smoothly it flows when you work between team members. So we have evidence that you've collaborated with your team. And I would also recommend that you watch back your presentation before you submit as well to make sure there aren't any blips or little things you need to edit out. Yes, as I said, can you use external data? Yes, with proper citation, it's actually encouraged. Your submission should be in the form of a recorded presentation. You can use any software to do this. Some of the suggested ways we would recommend are using PowerPoint Record, or you can use Zoom or Microsoft Teams to record your team members speaking to your slides. And as I mentioned before, all team members must speak and be visible, and the presentation must be submitted as an MP4 file. In this first round, recorded submission is to be 8 to 10 minutes long. And then following the first round, as I mentioned, when we do make the announcement on LinkedIn for the finalists will also be notified and given further instruction to help you prepare for the live presentation to the expert judges, and also organize your round with the coaches prior to that as well. Some key judging criteria to keep in mind when you are putting your presentation together. This is what you'll be being assessed against. So understanding of policy and procurement context. We're hoping that you'll be able to demonstrate a clear understanding of your chosen theme, relevant government policy frameworks, and how procurement can be used as a strategic lever to achieve public value. So remember what Teresa said around, we're not just buying things. We want to keep in mind the other considerations as well. We'll also be looking at your strategic thinking and innovation. So be creative, original in your approach, look beyond compliance. And your recommendations should reflect big picture thinking. So propose new ways of delivering outcomes through procurement. We'll also be looking at the feasibility and impact of your recommendations. So make sure you back up why you're making certain assumptions and recommendations, and that they'll be practical for the agency to implement. As I mentioned previously, also key is your communication and presentation. So it's essential that you deliver a clear, professional, and persuasive presentation with logical arguments, and that your presentation is structured and well supported. All team members must contribute and speak with clarity and confidence. We'll also be looking at use of different frameworks, data, and tools. So that also includes things like the Commonwealth procurement rules, social procurement policies, or modern slavery legislation, and any supporting data, metrics, or reporting methods that might strengthen your case as well. As I mentioned, we will be announcing the final results via LinkedIn. So you can scan the QR code on screen to make sure you're following us too. Please also, we will circulate with the recording both the link to this and also APCC to make sure you're following them as well, and also a direct link to their website because they have lots of helpful articles and resources you will probably find helpful when responding to the case. Another key point I don't think I've already mentioned with your case is that it is essential that you get it, I guess, what we're looking for in terms of your response. Make sure that you cover off that key criteria. So if you do have any questions, direct them to Shri, but we won't be able to assist you in terms of any content or theory related questions. So we can't give you any feedback in advance of the submission deadline because that will then go to the assessor for marking as well. So that is kind of all the key information we have to share with you today. I'd like to thank you all for attending. We really appreciate that you've taken the time out of your day and you're obviously passionate enough to attend and you're really excited about the competition. If you have any questions just around admin submissions or other things, so not necessarily feedback on your submission or how to answer the question, but other queries, please do direct them to Shri. If you do have any questions, as I mentioned, that are not outside of that, unfortunately, we can't respond to those. So we won't be able to assist you in putting your response together. So a big thank you to Teresa also for joining us today and saying a few words. Thank you very much. And thank you to all students who've joined. We wish you luck. We're really looking forward to seeing the creative solutions you come up with in responding to the case. And we're excited for you to learn more about procurement and hopefully get inspired to become the procurement professionals of the future. So thank you very much, everyone. Really looking forward to seeing you again at our awards ceremony and for our top finalists at the live judging round. I will let you go to the rest of your afternoon at the moment. So thank you very much, everyone.